I'm going to be counting down my top 7 favorite and least favorite fictional siblings. Today's video is sponsored by Disney Book Group and inspired by 2 of my favorite fictional siblings of all time, Anna and Elsa of Frozen. I mean, if you've been here for a while, it's no secret I'm a sucker for a great sibling story. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I'm a sibling myself. I'm a sibling! I'm a sister. I'm the oldest of 3. My sister is 3.5 years younger than me, and my brother is almost 9 years younger than me. I feel like the Frozen story hits you so much harder if you are a sister. I don't know. I've watched it with people who aren't a sister, and they're always not as enthused at the end as me, a sister. And then when I talk to people who are like super into Frozen, they have sisters. I think there's something there when you watch it, and I feel like I relate so much to Elsa, and I saw myself and my own sister in these characters so much. At Comic-Con one year, I saw an art piece of the 2 sisters when they were much younger, 5 and 8 or something, and I had to buy it because I was like, that's me and Olivia. I see myself in that Disney movie more than any Disney animated movie I've ever seen before. There is a new Frozen book out called Conceal, Don't Feel by Jen Kalanita. This is part of the A Twisted Tale series that they're doing, where they take a famous Disney story and add a new twist to it so the story is different. And in Conceal, Don't Feel, the twist is, what if these sisters never knew each other? Elsa is running Arendelle, and she starts to feel like a part of her is missing. And when her parents die, she really starts to chase after this feeling that something is missing from her life. And she starts to remember fragments of her childhood that have been erased from her mind that include this girl that looks familiar. And turns out that girl is Anna, and Elsa goes on a quest to find the missing princess of Arendelle, her sister. This story sounds like it's going to give us prime sister feels. Everything with these 2 characters gives me so many feels. I recently listened to For the First Time in Forever, and I just started crying. Last time I went to Disneyland, I finally saw the live show for Frozen, and I cried. Every time the trailer for Frozen 2 comes on, I cry, and I don't want to watch it. So I look at the ground, but sometimes I go to the movies and it's on, and it's hard to resist looking at it, and I cry. Conceal, Don't Feel by Jen Kalanita is out now. There's a link in the description so you can hit this up. Okay! The best and worst of the fictional siblings. Counting them down. I'm not going to include Anna and Elsa in this list because we've already extensively talked about them. I'm pivoting solely to the fictional book world. I have a countdown of 7 on the best fictional siblings list and a countdown of 4 on the worst fictional siblings list. Just to clear things up, I'm not saying that the depiction of siblinghood is the worst of these worst siblings. It's more like my least favorite siblings list. We're gonna start with the best, we're gonna end with the worst. So, coming in at number 7 on my list of the best fictional siblings, Lada and Radu of the And I Darken trilogy by Kirsten White. Yes, this is a gender-bent story of Vlad the Impaler, if Vlad the Impaler was a woman, and that epic journey, like we watched the fall of Constantinople and lots more. But at its heart, at its soul, it is a tale of 2 siblings, Lada and Radu, and they go through so much together and so much apart. I still have to read the final book. Pick them up. Do the audiobook. The audiobook is great. I'm an Audible affiliate, so you can always use my link in the description and get your first book for free. Coming in at number 6 on the best list is The Cullens! Now, maybe you don't know The Cullens. Maybe you haven't read Twilight. They're a group of 6 siblings that were all adopted. They're all paired off and married, but they're siblings. They lived together for hundreds of years. You know, especially relationships like Alice and Edward, Bella and Rosalie, Bella and Alice, Bella and Emmett, Bella and Jasper. Sorry, I'm using Bella a lot. Jasper and Emmett, Jasper and Edward. They're brothers. They make up this very strange, weird, statuesque family that loves and cares so much about each other that any one of them would do anything for each other. I had to put them on this list. They're great. Coming in at number 5, I have the iconic relationship between Katniss and Prim. Has there ever been a sibling relationship more talked about in the YA community? She volunteered! Those fateful words that Katniss uttered to protect her sister from almost certain death in the Hunger Games are legend. When this became a film, they became a meme. We'd say it all the time. I volunteer! Every time I watch that scene, it makes me cry. cry. They have this mother-daughter sibling relationship that comes when you're significantly older than your younger sister, or when you're put in a position where your parents aren't really there to parent your younger sibling. Katniss has to step up and provide for her sister. She is so protective of Prim, whereas her mother almost, as she evolves and comes back to life, starts to be more of a mentor to Prim rather than the protector and the person who sets the rules of the house. The arc between them is so tragic. Mockingjay got me so hard the first time. It wasn't really because of anything other than Katniss and Prim's relationship. That is the spark that lights this series on fire. And there's a lot more going on, but it's that relationship again that provides this beating heart behind the story. We saved Prim, and it kind of is this huge metaphor at the end when like you can't control, you have no control who lives, who dies, who tells your story. At number 4, I have the Song Sisters. Have there ever been 3 more adorable sisters in a book? I don't know. I absolutely love the dynamic here, and again, found it extremely relatable. It's the heart of this series. You've probably all read this now because the movie on Netflix was amazing, and anyone who hadn't picked it up yet was like, wow, I should pick that up. Then you really get to meet the Song Sisters in detail, and it's fantastic. Getting down to it now. Top 3 best fictional siblings. At number 3, we have the loves of my life, Alec Lightwood, Izzy Lightwood, and Jace Wayland Lightwood Herodale. These 3, you guys. Have we ever had more fun with a set of siblings than we do with these 3? It's hard to say, you know? I still have a number 2 and a number 1 and that maybe equal or top them, but I don't know. It's hard. I've had so much fun with Izzy and Alec and Jace. I love the love triangle of their siblingship, you know, because they all have very strong and very different bonds with each other. And Jace, of course, is not blood related, but he came into the family when he was 10. Izzy and Alec have a very strong, very private bond. You don't need to see them interact much separately to know how much they care about each other. Jake and Alec, of course, are parabati. Izzy and Jace have that classic sibling rivalry-esque relationship. Now there are so many books, and we're so far into the future that they're not the leads in the newest series, but whenever they come up, they just light up a room when they're together. They do! It's so much fun to hang out with them. You can always depend on them to save the day. They slay any problem that comes their way. At number 2. We have the first fictional siblings I ever really, loved. We can't forget about them. The Weasleys, specifically. I wanted to say specifically Fred and George Weasley, but I mean, we can't ignore the Weasleys as a whole. But I'm gonna focus on Fred and George Weasley because this is really about them. They bring levity and sibling rivalry to so much of the Harry Potter series. They're always there to support Harry. They're always there to make fun of Ron. Ron has hardcore middle child syndrome. He's like the last of 50, but then Ginny's after him, so Ginny's the baby, and he's the one who ends up with all the middle child stuff. And Fred and George, no matter what happens, they do their own thing. No matter how many people judge them, they're like, no, we're opening up a joke shop, and there's nothing you could do about it. No matter how many times Hermione tries to shut them down when they're testing their products on first years, they keep doing it. They're so mischievous, but at the same time, they're so loving and supportive. If anything happens to any of their siblings, any of their families, like, they're there doing whatever they can, putting themselves in the line of fire. I just keep getting really emotional talking about these sibling relationships because they really are the hearts of so many stories. These family relationships are so solid, and they're the ones who provide this solid ground for Harry, and they bring so much levity to the 5th book specifically, which is so dark, so caps lock Harry being angry at everything. But when you read it again, you start to really see Fred and George and how fucking funny they are. And finally, the number 1 best favorite fictional siblings on my list. You know where I'm going with this? Can you see it coming? Number 1 is the Blackthorn family of the Dark Artifice series by Cassandra Clare. There are so many siblings in this family, and there are so many different dynamics between each of them. I treasure them all in so many different ways. They make me laugh, and they make me cry, and they make me so mad sometimes. I just love them all. Mark, Helen, Julian, boy, I love to hate him. He's a rock. Ty, and Livy, and Tavi, and Drew. They're all so well developed involved in this series, and they all have different relationships with each other and very different personalities and very different thought processes, but in the end, they are there for each other. I love them so much. If you haven't read Cassandra Clare's books, they are so freaking good that I have a list of 7 of my favorite fictional siblings, and 2 of those sets of siblings are from her books. They take up such a big piece of my fiction-loving heart, and I cannot wait to continue down the Shadowhunter path and see more of them, how they evolve and tackle different issues. That's a huge part of what makes Cassie's books so compelling. These very strong, real relationships that form the foundation for everything that happens after. We're gonna be following a lot of Blackthorns again in the Wicked Powers series that will come sometime in the future that I am ecstatic for. So those were the best. Now it's time to count down the worst. I'm gonna put on this hat to symbolize the change of lists. At the bottom of the list, on number 4, Cole and Liam from the Darkest Minds trilogy. You know, no matter how hard I kind of try to like Cole, I don't like him. I don't think he's the best brother. I think he's a bit of an and that's all there really is to it. I never really was invested in him so much. I was annoyed by him. He did not do right by his brother. And there are some siblings that are just not good for their other siblings. And he is one of them. Like, he tries to be protective, but it backfires, and it just makes Liam feel bad about himself. At number 3. We're bringing it around town again for one of my least favorite siblings of all time. Mr. Percy Weasley, who again I think is at his worst in book 5. Oh, he sends this letter. He sends a letter to Ron telling him that he shouldn't be hanging out with Harry Potter anymore. It's not good for his reputation, because Harry Potter is a bad seed. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he does. What a perfect He's got his head up his butt. He's just so obsessed with being liked by the Minister of Magic and being a part of the ministry and how superior he is to everyone else that he can't see what's right in front of him. Okay, and yes, he arcs, but for a stretch of a lot of these books, he is so annoying. He follows the rules to a fault. And yes, I think he must have gotten a lot of flack from Fred and George throughout the years, and that can't be easy. But, to turn on Harry in his time of need, how dare you? To turn on Dumbledore, my favorite. We're already down to the top 2. Worst sibling ships of all time. At number 2, we have what is very close to being my least favorite sibling of all time. I feel like this is the relationship we've loved to hate the most. Clary and Jonathan. The hatred I felt and still feel for Jonathan as a brother is so overwhelming. His name angers me. For a lot of people, Jonathan is one of their favorite villains of all time, and I'm just like, I can't even see it. Because for me, that dude had no redeeming qualities. That was the worst of the worst. I hate him so much. But when he showed up in the Dark Artifices, I wanted to I'm trying not to curse, but it's hard. It's hard when my feelings are so intense. This is the 3rd Cassandra Clare ship to come up here because her ships are so amazing. Her characters are so strong. They have so many layers. They are all onions. Beautiful onions. Coming in at number 1 for the worst sibling of all time of fiction. My least favorite sibling relationship to ever come out of YA fiction thus far that I can remember. Caleb motherfucking Pryor. He can go fall in a motherfucking hole. I'd love to hear who do you agree on, who do you disagree on, what is your list? My name's Christine. I make videos every Tuesday. My book, Again But Better, is out now. It's a rom-com coming of age story. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!